Tones and I. Well, not I, but Tones and I, the band name.
AC Snap.
Artist and producer Tony Watson, hailing from all the way down under. Well known for her breakout single Dance Monkey, which received mixed reviews all around, to say the least. Look, there's a fine line between hating a song and then hating the artist, and I think it was crossed here quite a bit. I personally didn't like the song. It was mostly down to these really unique vocals, quite powerful, but also having this like kind of baby talk that I just really wasn't into. Listening back to it, the song is really catchy, and that's probably why it was so big, right? That's kind of the point of pop. You're supposed to like it. You're supposed to have it stuck in your head, singing it hours after you've heard it. And this happens even if you don't like it. Getting back on track though, having released only one album in the past, an album in my opinion is a bit of a mess here and there, maybe garnering a bit too much hate just because everyone was hating on it, so it was kind of like cool to do, I don't know. So now, Tones and I with her new album, Beautifully Ordinary. And you know what? Straight away, you hear a change in her voice, probably because of all this criticism, right? It's definitely been toned down somewhat, whilst actually keeping her sort of aesthetic. The album isn't that bad, but it's not great either. And I think the album's title kind of sums up a bit. It's ordinary. It's slightly derivative of other pop artists, mostly Adele. Yeah, namely Adele for the most part. Take the opening songs, for example, To Be Loved and Lose Someone. We see her kind of unique voice singing over this sweet little piano, completely drenched in reverb. And do you know what? That's kind of my issue with a lot of her music. Her voice is so sharp when she hits those highs, and I do actually quite like how powerful her voice is. But then it's paired with this high-pitched piano, violins, and then it's completely covered in this syrupy reverb. It's not overwhelming, it's just like exhausting to listen to. And you hear this again on songs like Dance With Me and Live Without Your Love. Lyrically, I don't mind it, and I think it's like pretty good, touching on topics of, you know, love, loss, all that stuff. Feeling quite vulnerable in general. I'm not being blown away here, but I do think there's genuinely something there to be admired for sure. And it's in songs like I Get High where you can kind of hear her strength in her lyric writing. The song itself, not actually that bad. There are some interesting moments that come in around the 2-minute mark. You see this vocoder come in, sort of breaking up that harshness of her voice, which weirdly, in the same vein, kind of makes it slightly distracting. Not because I think it sounds too much, but I think it's because she's on purposely trying to tone down her voice at this point. I mean, I might be wrong, but that's kind of how it feels. And this whole album, you hear her voice changing from song to song. Just listen to the song Figure It Out, where you kind of hear her voice going a bit deeper, and then it's way more coarse than usual, weirdly reminding me of Duffy, especially on songs like You Don't Know Me Like That, John Doe, and Raise Me Up. Unfortunately though, these songs having that generic contemporary R&B soul instrumentation, Raised Me Up standing out quite a bit from the other two though, having this really nice choir accompaniment that I quite liked, but again it's just fucking drowning in reverb. Reverb is like essential, and having lots of it doesn't necessarily make it sound bad. You know, you can use it to glue everything together, but I think people sometimes think you need to use as much reverb as possible. That's going to fix everything. That's going to make it sound nicer. And while, yeah, sometimes lots of reverb does work, often it just makes it sound thick and gluey, making everything kind of feel lost. Landing onto one of the lead singles of the album, Dreaming, falling back more into her previous sound, I think. Nice twangy bass, vocals unfortunately falling back into that baby talk a bit. And then there's that rhythm with the piano where people in the noughties dance like this too. The whole aesthetic kind of leaving me feeling a bit bored, and yeah, I don't really like it. On to the last stretch of the album with the song Sorrento, having that acoustic singer-songwriter feel. I found this song quite okay, her voice suiting this style way better. Being quite minimal, I think it was nice to hear that sort of affliction and the textures coming from her voice. Coming onto the song Need You to Love Me, sounding a lot like that one David Guetta song, I Remember. Again though, being filled with quite a high frequency mess. Then the song Only One being quite similar, but I quite enjoyed the journey of that song being quite cinematic in feel, incorporating other elements, heavier bass, things that I think really complement her voice more. Coming to the last song on the album now, at first I wasn't really into it with the la 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 la. But then the beat kind of started growing on me a bit, being really punchy, feeling quite 80s. But then at the 1 minute mark or so, the chorus comes in and her voice is sounding really good at this point. It does have that slight baby twang to it, but it's sounding really powerful, really retro. I don't know, sounding like something you'd hear on a workout video or like a montage. I was really liking it, but the verses kind of let it down, reverting to that old sound, which I didn't particularly like as much. Shame. I just think there's not enough on this album for me to like it. It does have its moments though. It's almost too safe, and that's probably because of all the criticism she received, right? And I do get it, it's understandable. It must be hard to hear people talk shit about something you're passionate about. And I know I'm saying harsh things about the album, but hopefully I'm not being mean. I mean, I don't want to be mean, but, you know, I never really hate the artist, and I still want them to keep creating. Like, don't stop ever, you know, don't stop no matter how much people talk shit about you. I do think people are starting to come around and realise just how harsh people were being about her, which I think is a really good thing at this point. Like, you don't want to destroy someone, right? But with all that though, I would probably give this album a 4.5 out of 10. Thank you so much for watching. I hope you enjoyed it. Let me know what you thought below, and yeah, hopefully catch you on the next one. A goodbye.